Hey, Slay Nation, it's your host, Heather, back with another episode of the So She Slays podcast. Now, I'm really excited to have our next guest in because as I just told her offline, that I'm going to be kind of sitting here, and I normally do this, but this is definitely something that's going to hit a little closer to home. I'm sitting here as an active listener, and I'm going to be asking these questions because I myself I'm interested, and it has everything to do with safety, physical safety as a single woman in today's day and age. Now, I know a lot of you can relate to the fact of, let me share my location with a whole bunch of people. Let me carry my car keys in the middle of my fingers as I walk to my car. All of these things go through your head as a single woman, I feel like, in order to stay safe. So please welcome today's guest, Nina Hobson. I am so excited to have you in. You are a former British detective of 15 years in covert operations and major crime. You went undercover exposing corruption in the British police. That documentary that stemmed from that was nominated for a BAFTA, and it resulted in you becoming the UK Women's Finalist of the Year. You are the only female head of security at your level. You're protecting CEOs, dignitaries, A-list celebrities. You were also Australian Woman of the Year finalist, and you work as a security consultant for networks like HBO Max and Netflix. And oh my goodness, the list just goes on and on. Nina, you're busy.
Hi, hello.
I'm really excited, like I said again, because I'm this is the first time I've really gotten to talk to somebody about this. I feel like the landscape of the world is clearly changing. And I also think that because there is a rise of single women, right? That are doing life on their own, whatever which boat, yeah, you, if that's what you're going for. But I feel like safety is a major concern, at least for me being a single woman myself. Safety is definitely top of mind where I'm going anywhere. So can we talk a little bit about safety in general as what you're seeing as a woman, but also like what your years of experience has made you, how has it shaped the way that you looked at the world in the safety capacity?
Oh, that's a really interesting question. And thank you, Heather, for that wonderful intro. There's a couple of points that you said in there I would love to bring up because you spoke about what we as women know we should do. We should share our location, we should carry our keys, but what we should and what we do are sometimes quite different. And also as a single woman, I fully understand the whole aspect of how we have to keep ourselves safe, and it is a changing world, and it's getting worse. And in answer to your question, because I've just totally avoided that, I look at the world probably very differently to most people because I've seen the worst parts of
Mm.
society. But you know what? I still look at it and go, what a wonderful place we live in. I don't live in fear. I live with knowledge. I'm practical about the way I do things. Sometimes some would say annoying because I'm I'm going to make you be accountable if it means I'm at risk or the people I'm with are at risk. Don't always practice what I preach, apparently, but I do think it's something that as single women we should take it on board. It is sadly it's up to us to protect ourselves. Now we may not agree with why is it up to us, but it is, and it's something that we can do little things that make us safe. It's not about barricading ourselves in or not going anywhere. It's about just having some knowledge, some practical skills, and then living the best life as a single woman.
Yes, exactly. And I would love to be able to explore this because I want to set the tone that I am not here to do fear mongering. Like, I want us, we're going to be living our lives to the fullest extent possible, but I want us to be safe in doing it. When I mean us, I also mean me. I'm trying to do all the things I want to do and not let my safety or my fear of my safety hold me back from really going after creating the life that I want to live. So, can we talk a little bit about how you look at the world and how that influences you yourself, even as a single woman, and how that's continuing to change.
Yeah, I mean, I look at the world and go, okay, there's some issues and there are things that I need to do to make sure I'm safe. But I don't look at the world and go, that's the only thing that matters to me, because otherwise you would become frightened. You'd stay in,
Paranoid.
consider paranoid, everything. And that's not how we should be. You know, we should be out there enjoying ourselves, and we should be out there being able to go and have a cocktail in a bar and not worry that somebody is going to spike our drink or how we're going to get home. We should be going out and being sensible, practical, and enjoying every second of it.
Mm, facts. I feel like, can we walk through maybe in your experience and in what you've seen, what are some of the spots or situations that women find themselves in that maybe they're like, oh shoot, I didn't realize this was unsafe, or I didn't take into account X, Y, and Z. Like what are some things we are missing that we should be looking?
I mean, we do talk, and we've heard before about where we park a car, make sure we're not in a dark area, how we transport ourselves from point A to point B, who is aware of where we are. All of those things that people have heard for years, they are really solid practical advice, because if you are aware, situational awareness is my favorite word. My kids, I drive them nuts, because if you are aware of where you are, you can then be aware of how to deal with the situation that may happen. So it's just having that pre-knowledge. You know, I'm in a bar, I'm having cocktails. How do I get out? Not, oh, I have to get out. Just be aware. Just be aware. You know what? If something went down, and I hate to use the word active shooter because, you know, for a British person, it horrifies me. But let's be real, it's a possibility. So look around the room that you're in and go, you know what, that's where I go. That's it. As long as in this brain, you've got some kind of awareness. So God forbid, and it is minor percent that it's going to happen, you are aware of what to do, rather than something happen and then you go, oh, I'm not sure where, you know, there's no prior knowledge, there's no prior consideration. And it's such an easy thing, because you do that, then you sit back down and you enjoy that damn cocktail.
I think that you're definitely onto something in the fact where it's like, and I've had conversations with other like security or police officers or whatever, and that's why I think a lot of them, they say that they sit with their back to the wall so that they can kind of surveil a little bit of like what's happening, and they make note of like where the exits are and where the doors are and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's smart. And I think that's kind of what you were saying. Are there other situations like, I mean, obviously not walking to your car alone, but I'm trying to, really dive into an everyday, thing that maybe we just don't think about, or we're like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I can't even tell you, sometimes I have had to walk down a street by myself and it's a little dark because it's not properly lit. Because there's just not a choice.
Right. And that's the thing. It's like sometimes we do things, but how are we protecting ourselves when we have to do that? So I'm going to give you an example. You get in an Uber, right? So firstly, somebody has come to your house. They now know that you're not there. So that's the first risk, because now your house is insecure. Not necessarily, but in an Uber driver's mind, that could be the situation. You're now in a car and you're going to a location. The first thing I do when I get in an Uber every single time is I make up a fake phone call. I don't actually call anyone, but I'm in the back seat and I talk really loudly into my phone and I explain to the fake person, oh yeah, no, it's okay. Tom is on his way back. He'll be back in about a minute and he's going to walk the dogs. Now you've told the Uber driver, oh, that house isn't going to be empty after all. You then go on to say, if it's me, yeah, don't worry, I've shared my location with X, even if I haven't. We'll use Tom again. Poor Tom. I've shared my location with Tom. Yeah, and he knows that I'm going to be at that location where I'm going to, and you can say the location in 3 minutes. You're now telling your Uber driver, somebody knows where I'm going to be. So if I don't get there in 3 minutes, there's going to be a problem. The cavalry is coming in. And then for good measure, I always say, "Oh yeah, I went and got my new gun today. It's really nice. It's a Glock 19. It's in the house." Duh.
Mm-hmm.
That is now telling somebody, whether it's true or not, that you know how to protect yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
if you have somebody who is that way inclined as your driver, you have now covered off that there's no way they could do anything with you.
Mm.
Going to know. We then get to the scenario where you are on that dark street and something does happen. Somebody may approach you or assault you. You make sure that you are so loud and you fight when somebody is in that situation. And you just said, sometimes you have to walk down a street, sing, be loud. Don't be quiet walking down the street because you are drawing attention to yourself prior to anything happening. And anyone who wants to do something doesn't want that. They don't want anyone already going, "Who's a crazy woman singing really loud as she walks down the street?" Or again, have a fake conversation. Don't be on your phone. Don't be using your Instagram. Don't have your eyes down. Be situationally aware of what's happening, who's around you, where you're going, but be loud while you're doing it.
Mm. I think so. There's a few things that popped up for me, and it's great that you're saying this because it's definitely something that I do. I didn't actually do that Uber stuff that you were saying, but I'm gonna start doing that now. I do share my location. If I do have to walk, I am calling somebody on the phone, and we're having a nice conversation as I get to my car, and get that thing started. I know there's going to be a lot of people listening and being like, "Gosh, that kind of sounds like a lot, like overkill." Is it, or are we really like just that naive?
What's overkill, Heather, about protecting yourself? At the
Mm,
end of the day, it's like gut instinct. We talk about gut instinct all the time, and you've got it or you haven't, right?
yeah.
We get gut feelings about everything. And
Mm-hmm.
we get gut feelings about a person, a situation, everything. But do we act on them? No.
No.
I am the worst. I get a gut feeling about somebody on a dating app, but he's hot. So I ignore it.
Yeah. We've all been there. We've all been there.
And then he turns out to be a criminal. That's a whole different show. Uh, uh,
Oh, I love that. Oh my goodness.
but it's about responding to how you feel and how you feel comfortable. And if on a gut instinct and you do something about it and it's wrong, what's the worst case scenario? You apologize or you don't,
Mm-hmm.
safe. If on your gut instinct it's right and you don't do something about it, what's the outcome?
Mm,
So I don't think these things are overkill because you know what? At the end of the day, for example, the Uber, you've got there, you're safe. Everyone knows it's a fake phone call. It's not doing anything other than saying, "I'm protecting myself, dude. If you are interested in harming me in any way, I've got this."
yeah.
It gives you that power. It gives you the comfort. You get to the location. This guy's not going to mess with you.
Mm-hmm.
You're scared right now. You've got everyone knowing where the hell you are. So, and your house is protected because Tom's coming to feed those dogs, dogs or no dogs. Uh,
Oh, good.
so for me, I just think these little things make it safe.
I think you're right. And I think it's one of those situations too where I think you this seems a little extremist, but it's like you either have the possibility of having something happen to you or you just take the smaller steps that seem, maybe like a bit much to you, but at least you know that you're taking the steps needed to say like keep yourself protected and safe. Um
And they are small steps. I mean, it may feel like they're big steps to have a conversation and say this. It's something that just becomes a normal way of life. You know, going back to the restaurant, we laugh and joke like my team. It's like, how do we all go out for dinner together? Because we literally fight over who sits where. And then it's like, I'm sitting there going, I'm so uncomfortable right now because I've got my back and it's in my training and it's what we do. But again, simple measures. Not everyone can sit with their back to the wall. We're at a table.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just being mindful and aware of what the situation could be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I feel like, what are some instances that I think women just don't take seriously enough?
I go back to the dating apps.
It's a thing. I go, look, there is like at least 5 people that know where I'm at, know where we're going, have my location, have the man's name, the photos, whatever his profile's like. I share everything.
Right. Which is because you're smart. And there's so many people who don't do that. And you know, we get caught up with our feelings and therefore we forget about the protection side of ourselves. And again, exactly what you said, you know, you tell somebody where you are, you tell them where you go. I have a friend who is so paranoid that I'm going to show up at her date to sit at the back of the room and look after her, that she just gives me an envelope. And in that envelope, it says everything. It's sealed. I don't ever touch it unless I need to. And if I need to, I know exactly who, where, what, and when. And sadly, I did a very public investigation into a lady who went missing off a dating app in Santa Monica, and we didn't know where she was. I thought that I was going to tell her parents that it was, you know, a done deal. It was over. And the only thing that she did was take a picture of her clothing and send it to her friend and say, "Oh, I'm on a way to a date. Do I look cute?" That was it. And that didn't go as planned. Can I just say that that person came home and is safe and
Oh,
well? But the person who she had met was not who he said he was. So, but it was quick. It was quick with his responses. You know, it was, "Oh, you're cute, you're lovely, da da," and she totally fell for what was being said and totally forgot all of the things that you did.
mm-hmm.
And it's really important that we do remember those things because it's what makes us safe. And then you can go into your date and you feel comfortable because you know that everyone, not everyone, one person maybe knows where you are and can have your back.
It's funny because with the dating apps, I make it known to the date. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm being tracked by like 4 different people right now.
I mean, that's no different for
I'm like,
you.
I'm sorry, not sorry.
And then your response, you know, how do they respond? That's okay. That's another, you know, gut feeling. Well, the response is, well, why are you having me tracked? That's not cool. Don't you trust me? Well, actually, now that's a layer of security gone.
Yep.
So if you're not happy for that, there's maybe a reason. So that again just gives you something else to consider.
Yeah, I definitely think we have to be, I feel like women have to be on the defensive. We have to be able to weed that stuff out. And you know, a lot of times I may be wrong. Oh, there you are. We'll pick it back up. So I think women do have to be defensive. We have to definitely be aware of what's happening. I kind of want to talk to the people. I have a few friends who are nice, like really nice. Now, and this is where I love them for being nice. I do. Bless their hearts. And it's one of my favorite things about them. But I'm also incredibly protective of them because I am the friend with like the RBF to the max. Like I feel like a lot of people deter from me because of the RBF, which happily will display. Um, and they tend to go for my friends who are the nice and energetic and super, and it's like I want to, like, can we talk about this a little bit, because where politeness and the niceties sometimes open the door for these types of situations.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're talking about, dare I use the word, a predator, because these are people who see the weakness. And I'm not saying that nice is weak.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, if somebody wants to target somebody that is nice, so definitely not going to be me, um, then that, that's, they see that. They see how you behave with regards to your security, with regards to the way you even respond to them on a dating app. It's, if somebody is that way inclined, they pick up really early. And I think that's something that we as women need to own and be happy to do. Pick up that signal really early, because we are smart. Women are the smartest, obviously, of the genders. We are smart, but we sometimes are too nice because we're women, and we don't want to say something because we're women. And we have to stop being nice. We have to say, you know what? That's not working. And we're going to say it. We're going to make you accountable. And we're going to be accountable ourselves for the reasons that we're doing this. Like, we're doing it to protect ourselves. And if Mr. Not So Nice is offended, so what?
Mm.
If I had a situation recently where I believe somebody was being trafficked at an airport,
Oof.
and my gut said, these kids are in danger. And the situation I was in, which I won't go into now, but the only thing I could do was go and tell somebody at the airport and say, this is what I've just observed. I think these kids are in danger. And that was it. That's all I could do, because I was then off. And
Yeah.
it actually, they were. Obviously, I work in that world. Now, had I not said anything, I would have then wondered for a long time. Had I said these kids are in danger and they were with their family and the family would have got upset, I don't care. I
Yeah.
don't care. I'm not a nasty person. I don't want to hurt anyone, but I want to protect people. And we just have to be able to own that a little bit more. I think women have for so long been, just gone with the flow, and we don't want to upset people because we are nice ourselves. And so therefore we accept things that we don't necessarily want to, because of that. And because of that, we could put ourselves at risk.
Mm. That kind of brings up my next question here about a little bit of like the tactical aspect of safety. When we've talked about it in a little bit, but I really want, like, what are like 3, 5 daily mistakes that women make that they seem maybe not a big deal, but kind of are?
Well, I think we touched on it with regards to,
The dating for sure.
yeah, and just telling people where we are or what we're doing. And it doesn't have to be everyone in the world. It just has to be as someone. Because you could go out for a run, for example, now, just get up, put your running gear on and go for a run. God forbid anything happens to you. Like you say, you've got someone who's following your location. My kids have my location. And, well, I don't think they're checking it all the time because that'd be really boring for them. But they have it for the just in case. So if you have one person that has your location, and I know that everyone has a one person, then just do it, because you don't have to report everything you're doing. You don't have to say, oh, this is my calendar, unless you want to. But it's just, if the what if, it's a starting point for people being able to help you if you got in trouble. So that's the first thing that I think that we should do. Question things. We don't question things as females.
Yeah.
We accept everything. And because, again, back to, that's how we've been programmed and that's what we're supposed to do. But use that gut, because we don't. On a daily basis, we don't. I'm trained to use my gut, and I still don't. in every situation, because your gut and your brain, and sometimes they're opposed, and but feel comfortable using your gut instinct because it's normally right.
Yeah.
And the third thing is just be careful who you talk to on a dating app. Um,
We all can relate to that one. It's not what they seem.
there's a theme. There's a theme, but just be careful what you share with people, because I think that's something. And I mean, like, cyber security is a big thing, and again, everyone kind of thinks it's cybersecurity is over here, it's organizational. It's cybersecurity is a huge thing. Giving people information really easily. So just be very guarded when you're doing things like that. Be careful who you're telling things to, who you're sending pictures to, all of that kind of thing. You need to be more protective of. And I say you, Heather, I'm meaning as a whole,
Yeah.
as females, like, let's be more protective of what we do have, because it's very easy for people to access us if we drop our guard and let people in a little bit. So just be mindful. Question. Not to the point where you're cynical and life's all bad, because actually, we're talking about people as a very small percentage. Thankfully,
Yeah.
it is on the increase. Crime is on the increase. People haven't got money. Life's expensive. That changes the crime landscape. So and now technology, Instagram, AI, it's all allowing a different avenue for abuse
Mm.
with individuals. So just be protective, mindful, smart, use that gut, and then go out and have a blast.
Yeah, exactly. And I think too, there's a lot of things I think that even I have done or have just kind of caught myself doing when it comes to tactical mistakes. Like, a lot of times people want to post while they're on vacation and on social media, and it's like you should post after. Like, go enjoy your vacation, take all the photos and all that kind of stuff, but post after so that nobody knows exactly where to find you.
Yeah. And that's back to the cyber security side of things, because, and everyone wants to post, right? Everyone wants to say dinner, which blows my mind. And oh, I'm staying at this resort, or I've booked this property for the next 2 weeks, or wherever it might be. So you're absolutely right. Just holding back and then get home and say, this is where I was. Now, you and I are having this conversation and both agreeing, going, that's a great idea. But in reality, is that going to happen? And we go right back to the start of our conversation. We kind of know things and we don't do things. So I think, like your show, like this conversation
Mhm.
is so important, because it is a reminder of what we can do, what we should do, and then it's down to us. We choose whether we do those things. But again, that is a really important point, because that allows people to abuse everything about you.
Mhm.
So back to the Uber driver, don't let him know that house is left on its own. Unlike my daughter, who goes, oh yeah, I've left the key under the mat, as she gets into a car and drives away. And I'm like,
You're like,
no,
no,
ever
no.
done see who her mum is?
It's horrible. Don't do that. Oh my gosh. To wrap up a little bit of this interview, I have rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
And these are kind of things that I was wondering myself, and we might have touched on a few of these already. But one thing you feel like women should immediately stop doing.
Posting where they are.
Posting or the facts. Just stop doing that. Do it after the fact.
Yeah, after the fact.
Okay, what's one safety myth?
Ooh, that's a good question. One safety myth. Wow. You got me on that. You
I know.
really put me on that.
Because I think sometimes there can be a false sense of security, right?
Well, one of the safety myths is that wherever you go and whatever vehicle you get in, you're going to get hurt or you're going to be harmed. That's a myth. Like it's a small percentage. It really is. So yeah, you're not going to get abused every time you get in an Uber.
True, true. Okay, one phrase women should practice saying more.
Oh, can I swear on here?
Yes,
Um,
you can. Yes, you can.
from a safety perspective, it's I got this. I've got
Mm, I think too, and this kind of comes with the next question too, how women portray confidence in public. Because I feel like you're less likely to maybe get taken for.
Right. And I think that's a really good point. So, yeah, be confident in whatever you're doing, whether it's walking down that dark street, be confident. Pretend, however you pretend that you're owning that street, that it doesn't matter who approaches you, even if inside you're like, oh my God, it's dark, I'm scared. Don't ever give that away because confidence is something that is seen as and we go back to the dating thing that all the nice people, it's seen, if you haven't got confidence then there's a weakness. So be confident. We call it the Swan syndrome. So our clients will never ever know that we have an issue, that we have a fear, because we're the swan, so we're going like that, we're real smooth and we look perfect. We might be having our legs going like this. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So yeah, go for the Swan syndrome, everybody.
Oh my goodness. And this is like something that I have heard woodwork doesn't necessarily, and I think it's more of like a myth busting a little bit for you. The question of to like posture, obviously with confidence, but eye contact. If approached, something doesn't feel right, someone's following you, and you're not exactly sure, turning around and like really making eye contact with that person. Does that do anything?
I don't think that it's the thing that would necessarily stop anything, but again, it does help with the confidence side of things. And if you're you think you're being followed,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going home, don't go home. Obviously, never go home if you think you're being followed. Goes to a police station,
Mm-hmm.
or just keep driving, or just keep walking, because that also is giving somebody else some extra information. With regards to the turning round, turn around. If you think you're being followed and you don't think that there's an exit, you don't think there's any way you can get to safety, there's nobody around, I agree with turn around and confront that person and go, excuse me, are you following me? Excuse me, do you need some help? Is always a great one, because it throws somebody off guard. Not only that, you've now seen them. So
Mm-hmm.
if it was an approach from behind, you've blown that because you could identify them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have your phone in your hand at that point, which 9 times out of 10 we do, as you're going to turn around, click it on record.
Mm.
Have a picture of this person. And if you ever get attacked, dig your nails in
Mm-hmm.
your life, because now you have DNA of that person.
Mm-hmm.
So these are all obviously super little
Yeah.
things, but do those things. Now you've got to be confident enough to do those things. So if you haven't got that ability, walk, 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 and be loud. Be really
Mm-hmm.
loud.
Mm. Okay, finish this sentence. You are not overreacting if.
You stay safe.
Mm, that's it. I mean, that's as simple as it gets. I will say that what has saved me over the years that I have lived on my own is definitely that gut instinct. Knowing when something is off or doesn't feel right has saved me way more than I actually like even care to admit. You know, when you live in a city by yourself, it's it's a thing. You're not going to always have someone with you.
Right. You're not. And that's reality.
I mean, like, it's just not plausible. If you can set it up to where things can happen that way, great. But it's not an everyday occurrence that it can. So again, I don't want anybody leaving this episode feeling scared. This episode was definitely a reminder, because I guarantee you, y'all have heard this several times before. We've all been here before, but this is a reminder. This is something for you to really keep in mind when you're out there creating the life that you want to create, because we all want you to be safe, and we all want you to be successful in creating that life. So Nina, thank you so much for joining us. Do people, I mean, you're insecurity, so I do you have like an Instagram? Do people like contact you? Like, how does that work for you? Normally my thing is like, where can people find you or follow you? But I don't even know if you want that.
Yeah. No, we do, and times have changed a little bit with us over the years. But yes, I do. I work for a company, and obviously we're contacted, and it's word of mouth. So, and that's kind of how we are. But if anybody does want to contact me, anyone's got any questions or fears, please contact Heather, and she
Yes.
will.
I
File.
will relay. We will send it up the ladder.
We definitely will. And I just want to reiterate, firstly, thank you for having me. But yeah, do not live in fear. Just live with knowledge, and go out and enjoy everything.
Absolutely. Slay Nation, thank you so much as always for listening. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, all of the things. If you want more So She Slays stuff, you can go to SoSheSlays.com. You can find us on socials at So She Slays. And do not forget that our Patreon, So She Slays Unfiltered AF, goes live March 2nd. All right. Thank you so much for listening. Nina, thank you so much for all of the great advice, and we'll catch you later.